Now for the moment you have all been waiting for, and that's Michael Saylor's most recent $5 million price prediction. He recently did an X Spaces, and I transcribed it because I found it very valuable, and I also think it'll be very valuable for you to learn what Michael Saylor had to share. If you're excited to hear it, let me know in the chat. And again, at the end of this story, we'll be reading everyone's comments out loud. So first and foremost, massive shout out to Michael Saylor. So again, in a recent interview, which I just transcribed this morning in this X post, here's what Michael Saylor had to say. First of all, Bitcoin is going up by a factor of 10, whether they can fix any of this stuff. It is going to be a grind up by a factor of 10 just because gold is broken and Bitcoin is going to replace gold. And now everybody in the universe knows they need a non-sovereign store of value in the form of a bearer instrument. For the last year, people said inflation may be coming. We are not sure. Now the mainstream narrative has flipped to inflation is here. You need an inflation hedge. So it's going to grind up to replace gold. It is going to go to $500,000 a coin, regardless of whether they fix these things. Here are three things that are massive catalysts that can cause an acceleration. Those three things don't take us to $500,000. They take us to $5 million per Bitcoin. Those three things are, number one, a spot Bitcoin ETF, where someone can go ahead and buy $100 million worth of Bitcoin via an ETF security. I think that's one. Number two, your bank is going to custody it for you and lend against it. And number three, I can mark it up or down on my balance sheet based on fair value. It will be pari passu on the way I handle Apple stock, or at least that good. If you have property with fair value accounting, by the way, it becomes pari passu to the way you handle treasury bonds on a treasury balance sheet. Treasuries are better than stocks because treasury is property, whereas a stock is a security, and you're capped out at 40% of your balance sheet of securities. So it would be a major, major breakthrough if you saw any of those three things. I'll end with this one observation in which I tweeted last week, and I believe it is very powerful. So listen up. If the banks can hold the stuff on their balance sheet, when a new class of investors are going to buy it, people are going to put in $1 billion and multi-billion dollar orders to buy it as a treasury asset. Nobody is going to sell it because there is no reason to sell it if you can borrow against it. Preach. So you'll be borrowing against Bitcoin. Nobody is ever going to sell it. And then, as I joked, you won't be able to afford it. Well, you'll be able to afford it, but as you know, everyone gets Bitcoin at the price they deserve. Facts. And when the banks normalize it and you can draw a $100 million credit line at 100 basis points from an FDIC insured bank, at that point, right where we're going to blow through the market cap of gold by a factor of 10x. And do the math. What is the gold market cap today? It's probably just north of 10 trillion. So we're talking about a factor of 10 would mean 100 trillion market cap for Bitcoin. Just FYI, fam, let that sink in. I think the best thing is that those three things are likely to happen. I don't know if they happen in 36 months, which is 3 years, or 24 months, which is 2 years, or 12 months within the next year, but I'd be shocked if it's more than 36 months. And I hope it doesn't happen in 12 months because my view is the longer it takes, the more progressive the grind, the more time I have to buy more of it. So there you have it, coming directly from the Giga Chad, Michael Saylor. Let me know if you agree or disagree that the Bitcoin market cap will eventually hit $100 trillion, surpassing gold's market cap by a factor of 10, sending the Bitcoin price to $5 million plus per coin as outlined in his prediction. Also like to point out, I remember when Michael Saylor first made this $5 million prediction originally back in 2021. He went on to share, I can see Bitcoin going to $1 million. I can see it going to $5 million because if it simply replaces all the indexes as the monetary index money, why shouldn't it go to 100 trillion market cap or something? And that's what he just reiterated in his most recent interview, virtually saying the Bitcoin market cap will surpass the gold market cap by a factor of 10, which would mean $100 trillion. He also went on to share, in my life, I have never seen something that was such a screaming signal, referring to the Bitcoin signal. You have got a $200 to $300 trillion addressable market. You have got a problem. Money is not sound. You've got engineered, thermodynamically sound money. You have got a dominant network. Everybody's decided it's the network. And guess what? It's exploding. The signal that is exploding. It is growing 200% per year every year for 12 years running. That, my friend, is the signal. And he goes on to share, now, do I think that Apple, Amazon, Facebook, and Google are going to buy up a factor of 10 from this point? Not really. I think they're plus 20, minus 20, plus 100. Maybe they'll double, or maybe they'll triple. He also said that Bitcoin got to be much easier trade in March of 2020. And every month since March of 2020, it's been de-risked exponentially. And then the need is exploding. So there you have it. Let me know if you agree or disagree with the prediction of Michael Saylor, and what are your thoughts surrounding the Bitcoin price hitting a factor of freaking $5 million per coin potentially within the next 36 months, as he outlined, once those three things happen, which he predicts will happen within the next 36 months. Let me know your thoughts. As I've been sharing on the show, the two most bullish catalysts, in my humble opinion, is that Bitcoin halving, now 6 months out, scheduled to be in April of 2024, as well as the Bitcoin ETF, which was first and foremost on the list from Michael Saylor. Even Top G, Andrew Tate, is talking about he cannot wait for the Bitcoin ETF to be approved. And that was also on the top mind of the Top G, with all of the ludicrous things he's experiencing in his life with lawsuits and, being sent to prison. So it goes to show you, I mean, everyone is concerned when Bitcoin ETF, because we know once we get that approval, game over. We're going to have trillions of dollars ushered right into the King crypto, which will change the entire crypto landscape.